What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? You're tuned into the Arrowhead Chief Podcast, episode 180, NFL Draft Edition. We got a lot to speak on today. Got my guy Ash in here, man. We gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about Brett Veach. We're gonna talk about Andy Reid, and we're gonna do some little prop bets, and we're gonna do a little NFL mock draft too for the Chiefs. So
let's have a day.
Let's talk Chiefs.
Yeah, Arrowhead Chiefs. It's your girl, Miss Nicole. We in hustle, baby. Started from the bottom, now we here. My homie at the start of his career. Let's go. Try to warn him early, hear the truth. Tuning every Sunday for the juice. Arrowhead Chief Podcast, bringing all the news. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Quick style. Out here rapping for the crew. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube.
And we are back. Arrowhead Chief Podcast, episode 180, NFL Draft Edition. Ash, what's going on, man? How you doing, man?
What's good, man? 'Tis the season. We have made it to the traditionally Super Bowl of the year for the Chiefs, but we've gotten so used to success that it just hits a little different. Still hits great. This is my favorite week of the year, typically on an annual basis. And,
right.
I'm super stoked about it, man. It's not as the years of the early 20s had a little bit more deep dive into it, hitting from the 32 spot. It's just a longer experience and the longest wait out of any other fan. But
hey, but you want
a good
that,
problem
right?
to have. Yeah,
that's what you want. I'd rather wait long than to be early, right?
I'm here for it.
So
no complaints here.
All right, man. Let's get into it, man. Brett Veach, man. He had a press conference last Friday. I want to say last Thursday or Friday. He spoke. He had some interesting things. Now we all know Brett Veach. He can be, blowing some smoke and giving us some smoke and mirrors. He showing everybody this over here. Hey, I'm doing this.
Fugazi, yeah.
Then over here, he's got the little ace in the back pocket somewhere. But he did have some interesting things. They asked him about free agency. And he said, of course, priority was Chris Jones, getting him back, and also getting most of the defensive line back. He signed Deshaun Warden. He signed Mike Dana. He signed Mike Purnell, and he signed Derek Nottie back. So it was very interesting to see that they re-signed most of their defensive linemen back. That's not really a high priority going into this draft. Yeah, you want them to draft somebody, but I don't see them getting an early pick for defensive line. I can see middle rounds or something like that for a defensive lineman. But for the most part, they brought back their guys. Drew Tranquil was another guy he said that was very important to sign back. So that lets us know that, and anybody who's tapped in with Chiefs know that they chose him over Willie Gay. So and even though Willie Gay only went for $5 million,
still could have got it's fine. We're gonna bring that up every episode. It's there's a nice little solid $5 million in cap space just chilling.
Right. But also the Hollywood Brown signing. Brett Veach always says that he always looking for playmakers for Patrick Mahomes, and they said that everything just fell in place for Hollywood Brown to still be out there and only signing for the $7 million initially, up to $11 million. So, and
something I found really interesting about him specifically talking about Hollywood Brown, he mentioned quote unquote he's a great 1-year ad.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
yeah. So he's expecting Hollywood to be gone after this season, so he put emphasis on that.
It seems to be a priority of his each offseason is like these short-term rental options in the wide receiver room. I mean, you saw it with Juju, and I think Kadarius is just an extended one because they got him on a rookie contract and they can really let it play out. But he seems to have this philosophy of Patrick is Patrick, Andy is Andy. We just need to bring in a new threat that is motivated to perform on a short-term basis so that they can get them for cheap. And then they could parlay that into a better contract somewhere else. And for him to like let that out, I was like, oh, interesting. But
Yeah,
hey,
for sure.
like we talked last week, I think Hollywood's doing it the right way. And I think that's his mentality as well, is like,
Yeah.
this is his prove it year deal. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting that he
put it out there. This is a 1-year deal between us and Hollywood Brown. But I think Hollywood Brown saw what it did for Juju, and Juju got paid, even though Juju didn't really play last year. But so what? That's not the Chiefs' concern. It was just, look, come in, get a Super Bowl ring with us, or a possibility of a chance of getting a Super Bowl ring. Have one of your better years. And because Juju, if he doesn't get hurt, he probably gets over 1,000 yards that season. But if he didn't have that, he had that concussion. But it still gets paid. Hey, and he's sitting pretty right now. And Hollywood Brown is younger than what Juju was. And so he's like, you know what? I come in, do my thing, and go get paid somewhere else. So that's a win-win situation. He also somebody mentioned him moving up. He said if it was his decision, he would have a problem moving up.
Right.
Of course, he has to check with Clark and Andy. But he said if the player that they want, if the position is right, especially like probably in the early teens, there's an offensive lineman, maybe even a wide receiver right there that they want, and they just got to go get this guy. They'll make the phone calls. Now is also the team has to be willing to, make that, transition with their transaction with them. So, that was interesting to me to hear that from him. And he also talked about some of the depth in the draft. He says that wide receiver, of course, we all know that is the deepest in this draft. He also said defensive line is very strong. O-line is very top heavy. He said a little bit when you get past 32, it's kind of a drop off. So that'll be interesting to hear. We'll get a sense of what they feel about Wanya Morris in the first 2 days of the draft. You know what I'm saying? And Friday they walk away with offensive lineman. That's how they feel about Wanya Morris. Also said corner is a strong, good value in the middle rounds too. Running back is kind of weak this year, so we'll see on running back.
Linebacker and running back is lighter, is the term he used.
Yeah. And then he said he's got 221 prospects on his board. So that's interesting. That's probably going to go way down once, the board starts falling apart.
For reference, I came across John Lynch's with the 49ers, and they have something like 80. I think it was like 86.
E-Mac, what's going on?
And it's just very much more selective. Whereas Veach is, he's a 7th round maestro, man. He's all about these undrafted free agents. So he gets deep with it. And it's just really cool to kind of see. He's amazing. And I love seeing his off seasons, and he goes about it in a very aggressive way when he finds something he really wants. And I think that's potentially what we're going to see this Thursday.
And that's one thing I say he learned from John Dorsey, because even John Dorsey was kind of like, diamond in the rough type guys. He was looking for those type of guys. Remember the year when we got all those guys from Seattle, the Ron Parkers and all those guys. Spencer Ware, we got a bunch of those guys from Seattle. So they're always looking for diamond in the roughs, undrafted guys, late round guys. So that's very interesting. Then asked about Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, the infamous Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore, said that those guys, they feel like, well, more so Kadarius Toney, he used the frame that he is the most talented wide receiver on this roster.
I see it.
He said
that's why he holds him around.
He might be just trying to drive the stock up a little bit just to get like a little pick.
Confidence or something.
Yeah, And Sky Moore too. He said that the injuries played a part in last year, and hopefully they can come in healthy and make some plays for them this year. We'll see. Training camp will tell us everything. If they're there for I could see a scenario where they're both there for. I don't see Sky Moore leaving. I think they keep Sky Moore. That's their 2nd round pick. They put capital into him. So hopefully this third year it finally clicks. You know what I'm saying? I know people are off the Sky Moore boat, but sometimes it just, guys, it clicks for them in different areas. You know what I'm saying? Some guys it takes a little longer, some guys it just instantly hits them. So, going from Western Michigan to the NFL, that might be a big jump for him. So, whereas in Kadarius Toney, we all see the potential in Kadarius Toney is just health and other stuff, the off field stuff that he kind of gets himself into that kind of hinders him from reaching his mass potential. We saw a little bit at his first year here with the Chiefs, and then we really haven't seen it since then. Last year was just a horrible year for Kadarius Toney, especially catching the football. He was getting open, he just couldn't catch it. So
that Detroit game
probably cost us
two
to 3 games last year. Probably, but yeah, 2 to 3 games he kind of caused us.
I'd argue it cost us an entire offense until the playoffs. The game plan of the going into the year was Kadarius being the number one guy. And it just completely echoes what he's already saying about him being the best wide receiver in the room. Like, they were really counting on him being the guy in this offense. And it sounds like they might still be, especially with Rice not being there anymore. But at the end of the day, what he did on week 1, man, was a bad omen in terms of what it was looking like.
He single-handedly lost us the game against Detroit.
Crazy. I've never seen that from a wide receiver.
Because even if he has those other drops, if he doesn't cause that interception, we win the game. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be a low-scoring game, but we win the game. You know what I'm saying? Because it was nothing on offense that Detroit was doing. It was just we handed them a free touchdown. So, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in preseason or the training camp. So we'll see. And he talked about Wanya Morris being he kind of echoed what Andy Reid said, the same thing. They didn't, put a stamp on it. Usually the Chiefs, they'll tell you like, yo, this is our guy. You know what I'm saying? We have full confidence in this guy. But they pretty much telling you, he had a solid year. He had some good, he had some bad, but we are going to bring in competition in this room for him to compete with. And if he rises to the occasion, good. If he doesn't, he's a good swing tackle. So I could see them, of course, bringing somebody in for the draft, at least the first 3 picks in the first top 100 picks. They're going to bring somebody in. Or even in free agency, maybe they bring Donovan Smith. Maybe they see they can kick the tires on a Mekhi Beckham. One of those guys. We'll see in this first 3. I think, like I said, the first 2 days will tell me how they feel about Wanya Morris. If they go day 3 with an offensive lineman, then maybe they get a veteran to compete with Wanya Morris. But those were some of kind of the things that stuck out to me with Brett Veach. Is there anything you would like to add?
Main things I saw. Well, we already touched kind of on the Toney and some of the other things, but the fact that the defensive line was a priority to retain, specifically you brought up Chris Jones. I mean, that is the highlight of the offseason. So I'm not sure that was needed to be brought up, but just really his wording around how he feels about certain position groups throughout the draft itself, I thought was really interesting. He specifically mentioned that offensive line, wide receiver, and cornerbacks have spots in the draft that he likes. And he mentioned that the corner depth in the middle of the draft is really good. And then he mentioned for the wide receivers that there's a bubble. He says there's a tier that goes until about the 50s, and then there's another tier that drops after that. So he's like already starting to position like, okay, so like these are kind of the hot spots in these areas, and they happen to be the position and needs that he even admits to. But he doesn't say anything about offensive line besides the fact that it's top heavy. So it maybe started to think, okay, maybe that's what they're looking at here. And I mean, it's the draft. That's the beauty of it. Like, it's all going to depend on what other teams do. But the fact, I think he said it was 21. I didn't write it down, but about 21 first round caliber players is what he was saying.
221, yeah.
So if there's for whatever reason a Trent McDuffie style prospect who just seems to slip through the cracks that gets to an attainable jump up spot, that would be it would behoove him to go up and get maybe one of these wide receivers, maybe one of these offensive tackles.
Yeah.
And but I think specifically they're eyeing an offensive tackle to be the thing that drops down. And it very well could be. If AD Mitchell gets somebody really intrigued and he goes low 20s, what does that set off? And Brian Thomas is probably going to be in the middle. Is McConkey a first rounder? Worthy.
Yeah.
There's a 4-2-2 guy drop to the second. I mean, we've seen John Ross and we've seen Darius Hayward-Bay go much higher for much slower. So, I mean, this is a speed draft. Is that going to captivate somebody? So if these wide receivers get hot, one of these tackles is going to drop. And like we were talking about Kingsley last week, is he considered a first rounder? He's he's a high potential guy with a project, but is that going to be seen as someone that you take at 32? But yeah, just thought that was interesting. Better defensive line class, mid-round depth there. But yeah, no, I think he touched on all the things that I would want to. But yeah, I liked how open he was. We'll see how truthful he was, but I like
Yeah, because even a wide receiver, you know what I'm saying, you got guys in that second, third round that you possibly get maybe in the second round. You could maybe a first round. You go offensive lineman, because I'm hearing Patrick Paul is a guy who's coming up that might be early, you know what I'm saying, that people are liking, who has all the tools. He's a potential guy, but he has all the tools in the world. Like you said, Kingsley, we've talked about Kingsley on this show, we both like him. We put him on our board last week. So he might be a guy that, hey, Andy Reid looks at him and said, me and Andy Heck can fix that guy. We can make him a perennial, at least starter in this league, a all-pro starter, or, a solid starter for years to come.
You got Jacob Morgan out of Arizona. He's starting to creep up some boards. Well, according to mock drafts, whatever how accurate those may be. But yeah, there's names. There's names specifically around 32 that would be really interesting. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he traded down to that late 30s, 40s group where there is that pocket of next tier talent, but really it just kind of comes down to what you're looking for because of the archetypes of each of these wide receivers that play a certain role. Certain teams are going to rank certain guys higher. So it all depends on how things fall. And then who knows, maybe Brock Bowers drops to the high teens and each gets excited like I am. And he pulls off a Mahomes style deal to go get Mahomes next decade number one threat. Man, I'd lose it. I would lose it.
I bet you would. I would lose it if they went and got Brian Thomas Jr. like that.
Absolutely.
They get him. I'm like, you can't tell me nothing. We're winning the Super Bowl, baby. We were scoring 40. We go back to scoring 40 a game, baby.
we're on the 4.
Yeah. But wide receiver, he talked about the depth of that, and you know what I'm saying, like I said, we can go offensive lineman in the first round that if they stay at 32 and they pick a Patrick Paul or a Kingsley, and maybe they move up in that second round and get an Xavier Leggett, or maybe Ladd drops into the second. I've heard a lot about Jalen McMillan and Polk, or guys like that.
Look at my boy Ricky. Ricky's gonna be sitting right there.
Ricky Purcell, he's another guy. Jermaine Burton in the third round, maybe he's sitting in the third.
There's so many.
That guy has mass potential. He just, he was at Alabama, and people think of Alabama, he wasn't that productive. Well, the quarterback play was a kind of inconsistent too. He wasn't used at his mass potential. But the thing about him is that he balled out at the Senior Bowl, so he's fast. He can run routes. He can run every route on the tree. But it's just, tapping into that potential. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. And it's interesting to hear Brett Veach talk. I'm always in tune with what Brett Veach has to say, even though maybe a lot of it, probably about 85% of it is BS.
Smoke. Just strategic smoke, just to get things a little dismayed. But the thing, my thoughts on it, I mean, how many roster holes are really left on what we got right here? I mean, this is a Super Bowl contending roster by itself, not to mention what Mahomes brings to the table. But I think they can afford to go that first round 32, just get the best offensive tackle that you like, and then trade up to that mid-second to really get the guy that you're probably considering at 32 to begin with. And spend the Snead pick that you get next year to move up. Or I think Veach is going to get he gets frisky every year. He's definitely going to make more than a few trades.
And then you never know. A corner might be sitting there at 32, and if Veach is like, well, we got McDuffie. Yeah, we like Jalen Watson, we like Joshua Williams. But if Nate Wiggins happens to drop at 32, it's like
Kool-Aid.
why not? Yeah, you know, like
Wiggins.
why not? You know what I'm saying? Like strength and a strength, you know.
It worked out with McDuffie.
And now you got McDuffie, Nate Wiggins out there with, you know, Joshua Williams can be a good nickel, and then you got Najee Johnson coming back. So, you know, we'll see. You know, it could be just how the board falls. You know, if a defensive tackle is there, a Newton, you know, Jimmy, you know, I think Johnny Newton, he's sitting there. Yeah, the guy from
Illinois.
Illinois. If he's sitting there, you know, you pair him up with Chris Jones. Now our defensive line is nuts. You know what I'm saying? You know. So I just felt like Brett Veach made it a point to keep this defense intact. He saw how good the defense, you know, minus L'Jarius Sneed not being there, you know, because we all know how important L'Jarius Sneed was last year. But when you got a guy like Trent McDuffie, who you feel can do what L'Jarius Sneed can do, and possibly has more upside than L'Jarius Sneed, because he was a first round, you know, highly talented, you know, corner. He's very high IQ. He may not have the top end speed that L'Jarius Sneed has, and he's not as big as L'Jarius, but he's still physical. You know he could tackle. We all know that, and he knows how to play the ball. He knows how to play the receiver, and he showed it in the Super Bowl. He made a lot of key plays in the Super Bowl that won us that Super Bowl. You know, that could have been potential, you know, touchdowns or first downs or whatever. So we know Trent McDuffie, you know, and he was an All-Pro last year in the slot. So, you know, the book on him is not fully written yet. You know what I'm saying? We still got a lot of untapped potential in that kid. So I'm excited for Trent McDuffie this year. So,
and I trust wherever Veach goes with that route for sure.
Yeah.
I just think he's probably going to be going for someone who could replicate, obviously not completely to the Snead level, but the physicality, that being able to put their hands on him. I mean, I don't know if you saw the thing with Tyreek this week, talking about Mike McDaniels got on him for getting locked up by Snead. But I mean, Snead was putting his hands on him, man. And
he was doing that to everybody,
and that's going to be hard to replicate. But again, you're probably not going to find that in this draft to that level, but to be able to at least provide that role of, if they are facing a receiver who needs to get pressed, be able to have somebody that can do that. Maybe Josh Williams can step into that role. We'll see, but it wouldn't hurt to find a lesser version, but still can play to the capability structure of what Snead did. Because McDuffie is going to be that guy that you can put on the inside and blitz. And I mean, he's just as good a blitzer as Snead ever was. And they're probably the two best corner blitzers in the league. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was a big priority as well.
And also after the draft, they could still sign an Xavier Howard or Stephon Gilmore type veteran guy to come in and compete and, you know, be that guy in the locker room. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But let's talk about Andy Reid. Brett Veach and Mark Donovan got an extension also. But Andy Reid, more importantly, he got an extension to 2029, which was very interesting. You know, I thought
18 mil a year too.
Yeah. I know that it would make him the highest paid head coach, which deservingly so. He's been the best head coach in probably the last 4 or 5 years. He's been the best. What's interesting is through 2029, I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking maybe like a 3-year extension, maybe, but to 2029, that lets you know I'm gonna get the most out of this Mahomes
I
I
mean,
finally got my guy. I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm trying to catch. I'm going to try to catch Mr. Bill Belichick.
yep, the race is on. They're going with a sprint. But like, how many players on this team right now do you think will be there in 2029? Pat,
Pat, Travis is going to be gone.
Travis. Yeah, I thought they would go out together within
Yeah,
like these
me
next
too.
2 years, but Andy's going to outdo Travis. Incredible.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he was
Travis.
already a Hall of Fame caliber coach, like as
Yeah.
Travis Kelce was entering the league, and he brought
Mhm.
him to first. So, yeah, we're getting them a lot longer than I was anticipating. I'm happy to that surprise, but
Me too.
yeah, it should be a fun chapter. Interesting to see what that does to Spags, because I know he's probably going to want to get a head coaching job at some time in the near future, and
Maybe.
considering the earliest that would be 2030. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that Spags really doesn't want to coach anymore. I've heard that he's comfortable being a coordinator. I think that I don't know, maybe
Hope so.
some people just know who they are. You know what I'm saying, and maybe head coaching
It's
is just
working
a
out
little
for
bit
him.
too much, just a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? You got to coach everybody, whereas you're a defensive coordinator, you just coach the guys that you know how to coach, and that's that defensive side. So. Um, it will be interesting to see how long Spags goes, because they're relatively the same age. So
Mhm.
we'll see, and we'll never know. I'm not you know proclaiming anything, but if Andy Reid wins 2 or 3 more in the next 3 to 4 years, he might be like, I'm gonna go ahead and retire
This
now.
bores me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
But I
I'm
don't
winning
think
too.
this man has many other hobbies, if any. I don't know what he would be like stepping away to go do. I don't know, maybe like a diners, dive-ins, or some sort of eating show. But besides
Mhm.
that, go find the best burger in America or something. But yeah, happy to have him. Happy to have Veach. I'm not quite sure what Mark Donovan does, but happy to have him still around. It's all
I guess
about
he handles the
continuity, man.
business side. He handles the
Hey,
business side.
he's doing swell, and he
Mhm.
deserves to be here as long as we all want him to be.
Yeah,
But yeah, Veach sticking around, love that. Um, yeah, all around solid offseason, gang. Let's keep
yeah.
it going until this weekend.
I was going to give a shout out to longtime PR guy. He was part over the PR department, Ted Cruz. You always saw him with Patrick Mahomes after the game. Black guy, tall black guy with a bald head. Um, he's no longer with the Chiefs anymore. He is the CEO over at Chicago now. So
Whew.
shout out to
Ryan
him for
Poles coaching.
getting the guy from where he knows, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So shout out to Ted Cruz for getting that promotion, man. He deserves it, man. He's
Good.
been with the Chiefs for a while now. So
Stepping in, and when a good time to step into Chicago. About to get their
mhm.
guy.
About to
We'll
get
see what
Caleb
happens.
Williams, a high profile prospect. So we'll see how that works out for them, But yeah, shout out to Ted Cruz, man, for getting that. He deserves it, man.
For sure.
All right. Let's do a little prop bets, man. Shout out to BETUS, man. Our sponsor, one of our sponsors, you know what I'm saying, on the show. If you go to our Twitter page, go to our link, you'll sign in. First, this is all for new people who sign in. Your first deposit, you get 125% sign-in bonus. That's a minimum of $100, 100% sports bonus up to 2,500, 10 times rollover on sports betting. Um, deposits of $100 or more will qualify for up to 30 pick free, risk-free bets promotion. So go ahead and sign up for BetUs. But all right, man, what you got, man?
So this is kind of my shit. I like these. It's the Mahomes year. I don't. No one will ever. 2017 was a great year. Won some really good money that year, but always like to kind of just peruse and kind of see what's out there. Interesting collection that we have this year. Like we already talked about, with just kind of who knows what's going to happen with the wide receiver groups and the offensive tackle groups and the cornerback groups. It's again just really team dependent on what each teams are looking for. So therefore, people are going to be rated much higher than others. So I was struggling a little bit specifically with the over-unders in terms of where people are going, but man, nothing has stuck out more to me. And I know I've already mentioned it on here, but the Michael Penix pick at 32.5, essentially saying, is Michael Penix a first-round pick? And I don't know how people haven't already jumped all over that. I think you're already seeing Twitter catch up to speed on it as well. I'm seeing quite a bit of stuff about him in the early teens in that little quarterback pocket of need. It would just shock me. Like, and I mean, I'm putting him over McCarthy. I'm putting him. He's right up there with the top 3, in my opinion. I think it just kind of comes down to what you're looking for. There's concerns about his injuries, but they haven't, and his age, but he hasn't been injured since 2021, and they were both right side injuries, and he's a left-handed quarterback. So I'm just not personally buying into kind of the things that we're hearing from these critics. It just seems very much, you're hearing all this stuff about McCarthy, and you're hearing all this stuff about, again, the top 3 guys. And even like Knicks is getting some like, oh, Knicks to Denver love, but you're not seeing that as much with Penix. And that makes me suspicious. And it makes me feel like, okay, people are higher on this guy than they want to believe so that they can get him where they want to get him. But at the end of the day, I think he's a first-round pick or first-round. Yeah, I think he deserves to be considered in that tier. I think he's produced enough to be considered in that tier. And I would just be surprised if those injury concerns are big enough to really knock him out of the first round in itself. I don't think it's Jordan Travis, like Florida State quarterback. I don't think it's anything like that where he's actively having to deal with the recovery. He's shown that he could recover from these season-ending injuries, and I think he even put it in his article that they just released the other day. He's like, he's proud of those. Like, he's shown that he could bounce back, and he doesn't need. He's like, give me the MRIs, give me the X-rays. Like, he's wearing it, and I don't know. I just see it as free money for me at this point. So, and I think it's not even that good of odds, so they should make it more interesting and bump it down. But maybe, who knows, maybe Thursday, once some more quarterback movement happens. I saw McCarthy's already getting bumped up to the 2nd overall pick, which it's just Will Levis and Mac Jones and all that all over again. Just they got a guy that they've hyped up all off season as like, oh, he could potentially be the dark horse, but I just don't think he's that caliber prospect. And he's just going to have a fall, which is really sucks for the guy himself, right? Like, it's not, he didn't do anything to have this fall. Like, he's getting pumped up with all this hype, and it's just, he's going to go where he needs to go. And it's not his fault, or he's not more of a disappointment because he's not living up to these fabricated expectations that the media is putting out. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a quarterback league. There's plenty of teams out there that need a quarterback. And personally, I would be surprised if Penix drops out of the top 20. Yeah, top 20 is where I'm currently put him. Yeah, that little quarterback row from 11 to 14. I think you saw Denver enter the Zach Wilson experience. So maybe they're not going to be someone who trades up like was being reported. I can see them sitting back and just kind of seeing what falls to them. And yeah, Saints. I think the Saints could be interesting. Who knows what they're doing these days in terms of what they're really trying to build with Derek Carr, but I could see them being a dark horse. Yeah, that was the biggest one that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, I got a few of them over here that kind of stuck out. Like, you know, even with the smoke with JJ McCarthy, but I'm hearing smoke with Drake May as the 2nd pick to Washington. So that's plus 250. You throw a couple dollars on that, you know, why not? JJ McCarthy, 3rd pick to New England, maybe. I don't know, or Minnesota trades with New England for the 3rd pick to go get JJ McCarthy plus 300. I got one for us, Xavier Worthy plus 550 to the Chiefs. Why not put a little bit of money on that? That could be happening. You know what I'm saying? Joe Alt being the first non-QB pick, maybe to New England, plus
Interesting.
1,000.
A lot of wide
Malik Neighbors.
receivers out there to get later on. Why not go for the best tackle?
I'm just saying. And then even we're hearing Malik Neighbors over Marvin Harrison Jr. First wide receiver pick. That's plus 300 itself. So put a little money on that. Why not?
Yeah.
And then I'm with you on the over-unders. I got Bo Nix under 32 and a half. I can see somebody reaching for him. Brian Thomas Jr. under 19 and a half. I can see him going in the early teens. Somebody, one of those guys. Maybe Denver says bump it. We got Zach Wilson. Let's go get him the best weapons. Let's get Brian Thomas Jr. Or maybe the Chiefs trade up and go get him. And I'm with you on Michael Penix Jr. 32 and a half under. You know what I'm saying? I can see him going the first round. So
odds aren't that great, but yeah, they're there.
Yeah, there, man. So those are some interesting picks to throw some money on to make the draft a little bit more interesting, especially if you're a casual who really don't really care about the draft like that.
Yeah, it just got Twitter's telling them.
But you want to make a little money. Why not? Yeah. Throw a couple $100 on it or $100 on
it. Another one I was really liking. Yeah, who knows? Nice. Earn you a little extra cash. Trey Benson, first running back taken. Just throughout the whole process, he's just been my number one guy. I think with Jonathan Brooks, he is still recovering and just right out the gate, trying to get someone. It's worked out for running backs in the past, but ultimately, Trey Benson's a dog, man. And he's got the size, he's got the production, he's fast. He's he checks a lot of boxes for me to feel good about him being just a workhorse at this next level. He's 6 foot, 216. I just feel good about a team feeling good about him. And right now they got him at plus 200. So I'm about that. Jonathan Brooks is the favorite at minus 115, but yeah, again, it makes sense. If he was healthy, sure, I'm all about that. But I'm discounting it a little bit personally. And then Jalen Wright at set plus 700. I would just be really surprised. The Blake Corum, man, I just haven't really found myself sucked into that. Like Blake Corum's plus 400 to be there, and Jalen Wright's plus 700. It just doesn't reflect how I'm ranking them. So, I would say.
What's your pushback on McCorm?
Small, not that fast.
Yeah,
he's productive.
I think he lost that speed when he got them injuries too.
Yeah, it just looks like Clyde to me, and I've had enough of that experience.
Clyde and tarnished you.
I don't want to sign up for that again.
Yeah, even though we signed up for it again.
Literally signed up for another year. So as far as running backs, we touched on it last week. I want someone fast. I want someone who can break it away, get that long.
We definitely need a playmaker, a guy who can take it to the house. Hit the hole and go.
Corum,
I love Pacheco, but Pacheco, he runs so angry sometimes. All the time, it's just like, just go, man, just go.
He's a great. Let's let him close it out, but have somebody that can be on there and the third and longs or even second and longs, and just good draw, good screen, good little dump off, That's
and maybe a guy that is the running back of the future, because I don't see us re-signing Pacheco back. I could see us seeing Pacheco walking, and he's going to be somewhere else, because you know how it is. Unfortunately, sorry for running backs, but that's just how the game goes, man. Unless you're a Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and even Saquon is gone. So. Derrick Henry's on the Ravens now, so even though he did get a contract extension, but it's just like they're gonna run you to the ground until they don't want you no more, and then they get a younger guy. You know what I'm saying? They could do had the same production as you had. So
Mhm.
I could see Pacheco possibly not being here next year. You know what I'm saying? So,
We'll see.
and we try to get that guy out of the future. So we'll
He just
see.
needs to get paid. He deserves something better than a 7th round contract. I mean, all
Yeah,
running backs are better contracts than they're getting, but specifically, I just hope he gets paid somewhere. But there's just
what up,
plenty
Joe?
of what up, Joe? There's plenty of rosters that need a running back that would really
Mhm.
would benefit from. I mean, you got the Chargers, you got the Giants. I know Chargers just got Dobbins, but are you really dependent on him?
You're right.
Cowboys, obviously, whoever
Mhm.
they end up going in probably the 2nd round.
They'll probably
That's going to
draft
be,
somebody.
yeah, and they'll probably be the first ones to take whoever off the board. But Benson with the Cowboys would be nasty. Brooks with the Cowboys would be nasty.
Let me
Uh,
ask you something about the Cowboys real quick. Would you
what you
be
got?
surprised if Dak Prescott gets traded in the first round?
Oh man, I would be rather shocked personally.
With
Based
that,
on
with
what
that, with them not giving him a contract extension, let's say a team just says bump it. Minnesota says bump it. We trading for Dak Prescott. We're gonna give him the extension. We got weapons around him. Let's go.
that would be that would be great. I'd be all about that. I
Or
just
maybe the
think
Raiders. Somebody like the Raiders can be like, we can't go get Jaden Daniels, who we really want. Even though we like Michael Penix, we rather get the short thing and Dak Prescott, who's been in this league. And we enter Dak Prescott in this offense with Devontae Adams. Hey, and he won't have the pressure of having that star on his helmet. Yeah, it's the Raiders, but they're not
right,
the cowboy
different
type
pressure.
pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like he come in, they make it to the playoffs. They're happy.
right. And that's probably what he needs in terms of hype and pressure. But
Mhm.
ultimately, where would you rank Dak at this point? Is he a top 10 guy?
I think he's a top 10 quarterback.
Okay,
I think he's top 10.
he's like right there with, I guess, Kirk in my
Yeah,
mind. Like
like
they've pretty much accomplished about the same
it's about the same thing.
type of
Yeah,
tier.
yeah.
Uh,
So
and the Falcons, I mean, I like what the Falcons are doing. I think if
I
they
do.
really hit it deep in the deep on defense in the draft, they could be really interesting. But
They can.
Cowboys, they haven't done shit this offseason. And
That's what I'm saying. This all in thing with Jerry Jones, and it's just interesting that they haven't came and you're gonna pay him 65 million for 1 year. Like,
but I guess that's what
but
they
he,
mean by all in. Like they're
and we
going
still got to
all in on
re-sign
this
CD
last
Lamb,
win.
and
It's
gotta
tricky.
go coach this baseball team. We gotta say Xavier Worthy no matter what, and we Hollywood. Right on, Joe. Good luck in the game, brother.
Xavier Word.
Uh,
See if he makes the
I'm
first
not
team.
mad at Xavier Worthy. Hey, look, we talked about this last week. I know you said
Yeah.
we got Hollywood Brown, but we only got him for 1 year, man. Why
Sure.
not? We go fast. We get a NASCAR on offense and just go all speed. We already got Rasheed Rice to get done. And I know he's gonna get suspended for some games, whatever. So I still think we bring in a veteran, or maybe Sky Moore and Kadarius Tony step it up. But maybe Justin Ross too. We never know.
Tony could be that NASCAR man. Like I think we'll see. We'll see. I just think that what he brings to the table is again just too similar to what Hollywood does. Wouldn't be
Yeah,
mad at it if he's added to it. Wonderful. We could use as many of those types as we can. But
because Xavier,
we'll
because
see.
Hollywood's gonna definitely be a starter. He's gonna be
Oh yeah.
a starter in this. He's gonna be at least the number 2 wide receiver to probably Rasheed Rice. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What Xavier Worthy also can bring to the table is punt and kickoff return, which something that we sorely need badly. Like
We'll see.
just
Let's see what Mr. Rugby can bring to the table.
I mean, I like I like the potential of the guy, but I think he's a project for sure. He's
Sure.
got the tools. He's fast. We know that, and
Yeah.
he's a dog in rugby. He's not, so he's used to the physicality, but It's different when you put them pads on. You see, you have that speed when you got them pads on and you got guys hitting you. You know how long can and it's an 18-game schedule. You know how long can you take the punishment? And with the Chiefs, it's a 20-something game schedule because we're always deep in the playoffs. So
playing February. It's
so
but again, it's gonna be fascinating to see what this new special teams. What does that do to the game in general? Like, is this going to be something that scores once every 2 or 3 games? Maybe. Maybe if you have someone that good back there.
Yeah, especially with these rules. But I'm just saying, with an Xavier Worthy, you're more guaranteed, whether it's Lewis, or whatever.
Sure. Yeah,
it's more.
I just wanted to find some way to sprinkle him in every podcast.
It's
just crazy that he's even on the team.
But I mean, I get it. I get the potential. I get the potential with the guy. He's definitely got, a 4.3 speed, and you've seen him kind of do similar stuff in rugby. It's like, why not take a flyer in this guy? If worst come to worst, he's on the practice squad next year. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully he can make it, to the practice squad. But he's on the practice squad at the very least, and you could work him in. And maybe, middle of the season, it clicks for him and you can put him back there, So
be a great
maybe put him in running back too, So
but with Worthy in particular, he's got really interesting odds. Like, the favorite are both Buffalo Bills and Kansas City at 550. So I mean, like, there's money to be made on this guy if you really feel good about where he could possibly go. Dolphins are at third at plus 750. Think that would be wild.
I don't see them going to Xavier Worthy. They need defense.
You got the Panthers at plus 1,000 and
I can see. I could possibly see Panthers. They need weapons, so
they need weapons.
So putting a little bit of money on there for the Panthers wouldn't be a bad option. I could see them doing that.
They might like Leggett though. He's the hometown kid.
He's the hometown kid. I think if Leggett is there in the second round, which I anticipate him being there, let somebody just go up and get that dude because they just see too much mass potential in that guy. I could see him being at the top of the second round, and Carolina just being like, "Nah, we got to get this dude. He's from our backyard. He's right down the street. Let's bring him in."
Yeah, if I'm putting money on this, I'm looking for the value. I'm feeling pretty good, and I'd probably actually add this to my list. I really think that the Colts could be looking at him. I think he brings something to the table that Pittman doesn't bring. They don't have that deep option. They try to do it with Alec Pierce, but he's just kind of that perimeter, big body possession guy. Richardson's got a big arm, man. He can outthrow most people.
No, you're right. No,
you need someone who can go get it.
Him in the slot. Yeah, you put him in the slot with Alec and Pittman on the outside. Yeah, the Colts definitely could use that guy, and you can move him around and do so much stuff for him. Only 2 days till new Chiefs join the battle. Yes, sir, John.
Tick, tick, tick.
But no, that's Xavier Worthy is definitely going to be interesting. I think Brian Thomas Jr. see how far he drops. I don't think he drops far, but you never know. It depends on how much offensive lineman goes in that middle round, defensive players, corners, defensive linemen, and other offensive linemen in those middle rounds. And there's always a couple of guys that go in the first round, and you're like, that guy went in the first round, or you say, who? But
some defensive end pops in. The team's like
him. I think you could have got him in the second round, man.
Yeah, you get Emmanuel Forbes just drops in the middle of the first. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm here for that. Thanks for bumping everybody else I want down. But yeah,
the kid from Western Michigan, the defensive end. I forgot his name. I think it's Nealon or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
somebody can fall in love with him and be like, we can bring this guy in and be our starting defensive end, So
someone really ends up liking Chop Robinson, going high with him.
Yeah, I actually like Chop Robinson. I think
He's
in the
nice.
3-4, I think he'd be a great
He could
3-4
sneak in
outside
there.
linebacker. Yeah, for sure. So it's gonna be interesting, man. Like who
Draft.
drops and who
Love it.
stays and who gets drafted. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, those are some of our picks, man. But let's go ahead and do this mock draft, man.
I will say one last thing, just to circle back on our first conversation with the Veach press conference.
Wow,
Kansas City
Carmar, what's up, brother?
plus 125 for to be the first
Great job.
first pick. And like we were saying, he kind of already dropped notes about being, wide receivers are kind of in that second round. You got cornerbacks, got some mid-round depth. If we're just going off of context clues, I'm feeling good about Veach pulling the trigger on an offensive lineman. Someone who just falls through the cracks. And 125 is what that's currently at. So that's where I'd go with it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's go ahead and start this draft.
Let's get it.
Now, we can make trades. What area would you want me to stop it to offer a trade?
18.
18? Okay.
18. I just want to see who's there.
I think it's the Bengals. They ain't trading with
Are they going to trade? 19. 19.
19.
There it is.
With the Rams, okay. We'll do that.
They need picks.
Right.
Yeah, first time the Rams are picking in the first since Jared Goff. Oh, there goes Thomas.
All right, we're there.
Mitchell. If he drops there, that's
so we got 19. We'll probably give him 32.
Probably next year's.
Next year. Let's try it next year. Oh, second round pick. We can do that. You want to do that first in the next year? Second?
That went really green really fast. What is what does that third round do instead of the second?
Not much. Both thirds can get him there.
Well, that second third's probably better than the first third. Yeah, I'd give like 131 and next year.
Would you do 95 in next year's third?
Yeah, probably.
Let's do that.
Okay, so wait, who's even there?
I don't think I can.
Who's on the board? Oh, that's all right. Because Thomas is gone.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to the Seattle, which is kind of weird. Why would you go there?
Look like maybe a tackle's there.
So let's see. Joe Alt went to the damn. He dropped all the way. If that happens in real life, if Joe Alt is right here, Tisa probably might go up there and get him.
Tackle number 3.
Yeah, if Joe Alt is still there, nah, Chiefs might go up and get him. They're gonna be on the phone for sure.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't, but I don't see no tackle here.
Yeah, I think it would rely on Thomas dropping to 19.
Yeah, I don't see no. Yeah, because the next best tackle after Alt Fasano is gone, so we'll just let the draft board fall.
Yeah, let's see who else is there. Yeah, nobody there. Mitchell, but you didn't have to trade all the way up there for him. All right.
Yeah, Franklin, Lad McCogley, Keon Coleman, Roman Wilson, Persaw's there, Leggett's there. Let's see what offensive lineman is there. Got Morgan, Carrion, Kingsley's there. Brandon Coleman, he's there.
Patrick Paul.
Yeah, Patrick Paul, but I think he'll still be there at 64.
Right.
You got corner. Got Kool-Aid right there. Check on defensive tackle. You got Fisk, Chris Jenkins. I wouldn't take those guys in the first round, though. So it's interesting. We can go.
I just think it's kind of, instead of an offensive tackle dropping, you got one of the cornerbacks dropping. You got Kool-Aid just sitting there, who I don't think will be there. Maybe he'll be there, but
Nah, you'd be gone.
I think all these other guys that we're bringing up can be traded up too for, and there's enough of them to say like, okay, I'm cool with this guy dropping because this guy's there, but there isn't really anyone there from a cornerback perspective. Whereas I saw like 3 tackles I'd be cool with, and like 5 wide receivers I'd be cool with. So yeah, however you.
So Kool-Aid.
I'm liking Kool-Aid.
Okay, we'll go Kool-Aid.
The puns would be great.
All right.
Kingsley went right after that.
So where can we trade up to possibly? Let's see. Saints.
Oh, there goes Paul.
Patrick. Give him 64. Be cool. Would you be cool with that?
Can we get something back? Like 190? Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, why not? Okay. Success.
We got, see what wide receivers. We got Coleman there. We got Troy Franklin there. See what's line we got there. Coleman, Fisker, Pooney. It's kind of a drop off at O line.
Yeah, and that's what he's talking about, and that's what Veach was saying, is like it's a top heavy group. So that just makes me feel that he's definitely going to be looking at offensive tackle. I just thought that maybe Kingsley would be dropping more than he did, but yeah, PFF draft boards was lying to us. Patriots were more than we did. It led to believe.
Right.
But yeah, that's why we were saying last week. I think Kingsley's definitely in play at 32. I think he brings a lot of potential to the table, and man, maybe in hindsight that was the move to go. But
probably.
I think we're sitting pretty in terms of weapons still. We just get Donovan Smith on the phone at this point. Like, all right. How much you want? Here you go.
Yeah, for sure. You got Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman, Roman Wilson, Ricky Purcell.
My guy, yeah. Ricky's my guy, but
yeah, you like Ricky.
For I guess simulation purposes, if we're trading up, it's probably for Franklin, right? Just in this situation.
Yeah, as a second round pick, I'm not mad at Troy Franklin. I'm not the biggest Troy Franklin guy, but
I personally have Ricky over Franklin. I don't know if the Chiefs feel that way.
I would take Keon Coleman over him, but
yeah, I'd put him right about. I'd put him over Roman Wilson, but yeah.
But this is the Chiefs, and they like speed. So I'm gonna go Troy Franklin. Yeah. Don't kill me, Chiefs getting him.
Right.
Don't kill us.
They need to be able. They need to show you who's available during these trade ups. Brutal.
That's what I agree.
Anyone here? These tackles are gone. Jalen Wright, down. Johnny Wilson's going high. All right. Trey Benson. Really? All right, here comes these running backs.
All right, let's see on lineman. I like Dominique Pooney. He could play all 5 positions. That's about it.
Yeah, it's going to be dropping off even more than it already has at this point.
I'm gonna go ahead and take Pooney because he could play all 5 positions. So
they like that. They like versatility.
Yeah.
Especially if he's going to be coming in, third round pick, you're going to want someone who can go both. I mean, that's what Morris was. And that's kind of how they went about it with him. So it'd be consistent, honestly.
Yeah, for
Lucas
sure.
Niang, that you just
Yeah.
kind of same deal, injury, but
Injury just killed him, but I took his stuff. So see how this board
running
falls.
backs. Running back. Maybe Jaheim Bell. Yeah.
Let's go see what the running backs look like. You got
Ooh.
Cody. You got hometown guy Cody Schrader. Got Isaac Rendo.
I've looked a little bit into Rasheen Ali. I liked what he was bringing to the table.
Yeah.
If we're doing this, if we're going this route, is Tyrone Tracy going to be down there?
Nah, he's gone.
So they got Tyrone Tracy. Wow. Okay, he's getting popular.
Let's look at
What's the overall board look like?
Bam.
Tyler Davis.
I do like Zach Zenter.
Okay.
He's a good inside guy, and seeing we've talked about it with Trey Smith and what's his name?
Oh, Tooney.
One of them could be gone next year. So
yeah, it's good. That's going to be really telling where they draft that guy. If it's high up, if it's a day 2 pick, that's quite telling on someone's leaving. But if it's somewhere in the 5th round, who knows? We'll see how they prioritize things. But my guard knowledge in the late rounds is quite thin this year. So if you're feeling good about them,
I like Zach. It was his injuries that kind of messed him up. But if Zach Zenter doesn't get hurt, he's a 2nd round pick. So
okay. Is there anyone in the defensive line lane that you like later on? You got Davis there. I've seen a little bit of Davis.
Tyler Davis, Miles Murphy. I like Jordan Jefferson. I think we can get him later. I like Christian Boyd. That's a guy they brought in for a 30-day visit. That's about it as far as defensive lineman. But I think we can get those guys later. Yeah. Possibly.
I'm good with the guard.
Yeah, let's go with the guard.
Solidify that offensive line.
Yeah, you got to. So, give me Zach Zenter.
3 picks. Okay.
Let's look at running back. At 173. You got Schrader. You got Isaac Rendo. Rasheen Ali. Dylan Johnson is very interesting. I know he was hurt. He got hurt. So that's what dropped his stock. But I think he's actually a really good running back. Carson Steele, that's another guy who they brought in, 30-day visit. Frank Gore Jr.
Yeah. I saw some Imani Bailey. He was solid.
Yeah. So let's see tight end.
Tip.
Right. I like Ryman.
I like Tip. Yeah.
I like Ryman. Tanner's okay.
I saw some stuff on him. I didn't dig into him though. I do like Tip, bigger dude.
Yeah, I do like Tip too. He's got good athleticism. Let's see.
That'd probably be my guy, honestly.
Yeah, probably so. Let's go with Tip.
Yeah.
Let's go with Tip.
Tip. All right. Kelly King. I liked him. Fit all. He's just more of a power guy.
So you got some good running backs on the board. I like Cody Schrader, but I need somebody with a little bit more juice. That's why
one of those next 2 guys.
I like Grindle. So I'm gonna go Grindle. Yeah, let's go Isaiah. Why not? Man?
Why not? 6th round pick. This is probably where we're gonna get the cornerback, but it's fine. Got Kool-Aid. we're chilling. All right, top of 7.
And Christian Boyd, right there.
There it is.
Boom.
There it is. Cool.
Let's see our grade. Probably gonna give us an F.
Nah, I think it's gonna be at least a B.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not gonna like the tip.
Yeah.
What you got? What you got? What you got?
Give us a
B
B
plus
plus.
for
A for Franklin. F. Yep, you was right. Gave us an F for tip. We got B plus.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I like it.
I really likes the Troy Franklin pick.
Yeah. Probably a good value at 2nd round pick. And I know a lot of Chiefs fans aren't really big on him, but
I'm not mad at that draft. If that's what it ends up being, like those are the position groups it needs. I think the priority of them makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at it. I've seen much worse. Non-biased, I've seen much worse ones.
You got Kool-Aid. He's the big physical guy. He's very smart,
right?
A corner, and he played at Alabama, so he's got high, what I'm saying, prestige coming from there. Troy Franklin, like I said, he's fast. He can get separation. The thing about him is the drops, and his route running. But I think, but I'm pretty for sure if he comes into this offense, Andy will know how to, fix him up, hopefully. Pooney, like I said, he plays all 5 positions. So at worst, if he doesn't start, he's a swing tackle. He could slide. He's our replacement for what's his name? Played for Tooney.
Allegretti?
Yeah, Allegretti. You definitely could use him at all 5 positions. If our left tackle goes out, you possibly can put him in, or you put Wanya Moore's there. You can put Pooney in at guard. So that's a good. Zach Zinter is more of a future. If we don't pay Trey Smith or if we let Tooney go next year, you got Zach Zinter in there. Tip Ryman, he's another tight end. Has potential, but you just bring him in the room. Isaac Grundle, he's 3rd running back, behind Clyde. We can bring you some juice and possibly can push
Big dude.
Clyde. You know what I'm saying? So, and then Christian Boyd, good defensive tackle. I like him. I've seen some things on him. He's pretty good. So,
you said he had a top 30. Is he the one that had a top 30 visit? Yeah.
Yeah, he had a top 30 visit. So yeah. I'm not mad at it at all. Not mad at all. So yeah, man. Let's see what some of the people are saying.
Let's see if there's any more of these draft bets.
Good thing about this draft, no need to rush and get a receiver with the first pick. I agree. Trade with Bears 10. I wish. We go to 10, then we going to get somebody. A tackle or a wide receiver. Keon with size. I do like Coleman. I do like Keon Coleman. I think his athleticism is there too. So, and he's a receiver we've really never had in this offense. So he would definitely be the opposite of what we've picked in the past. Andy kind of likes the smaller, faster receiver, but we get a big guy who can, his 40 time wasn't great, but his game speed is way different. In the gauntlet, he had the fastest speed in the gauntlet. So, and it shows it on tape too that he has great athleticism. His quarterback wasn't the Jordan Travis didn't do him any favors. So,
I do think they are going to prioritize size, just because that isn't going to be. So, like, you lost MVS and he was that guy. I mean, he didn't play the physical big body receiver constantly, but He did provide it every now and then, and that just currently isn't in this roster. Besides Justin Ross, I mean, if we're really going to put eggs in that basket again, outside of him, you're just not getting a big body.
Yeah,
field stretcher may not be completely necessary, but that's what Brian Thomas brings to the fold. So if he can drop to those late teens, could definitely see that being an option.
And like when we stopped at 19 with the Rams, I can definitely see the Chiefs if Brian Thomas is there at 19 calling the Rams and saying, "Hey."
Chiefs won't be the only ones calling him if that's the case. Too,
of course.
Yeah,
but I'm sure that Veach will be on the phone like, "Hey."
It'd be great to hop over the Bills again.
Yeah, right.
Get the McDuffie treatment.
And it'd be interesting to see what the Bengals do at wide receiver if they draft him, because if they do draft him, then that lets you know that they're not anticipating T. Higgins coming back. So, and maybe T. Higgins is a draft piece, possibly, if they draft him. So,
I mean, he's on the franchise, and it doesn't seem like they're that incentivized to give him a deal. I mean, they're about to pay what they're about, and Burrow. Like, I don't think you can build a full contending roster with 3 mega contracts on the same it's like years ago when the Texans got both Watt and Clowney, or it's hard to put that much into a singular position group. And I think Higgins is gone, so they're probably going to be looking at that replacement. And there is a few T. Higgins in this draft, so 19 is going to be really interesting.
But I could also see the Bengals saying, "Well, we need to invest in this offensive line. We got to keep Burrows upright. He's been getting hurt way too much.
Make sure that wrist is worrisome, I would say,
and then possibly getting a Keon Coleman in the second round, somebody like that can replace what Higgins does, So I could see something like that, or maybe an Xavier Leggett, a big body dude who can go down the field. He's kind of he's more so in the mode of a Jamar Chase. He's a little bit bigger, but just a guy you just get the ball to him and just let him go.
I just want his action on the team.
After the draft, do you think Veach will sign Renfro? I don't know about Renfro. I could see a Tyler Boyd more so. I see Boyd more so than Renfro. I wouldn't be surprised at Renfro, but I think they want a little bit more guy with a little bit more juice. I like Renfro, in the slot. He is a good guy in the slot. I don't know why the Raiders gave up on him so much. Because before Josh McDaniels got there, it was like dude was actually a pretty good receiver. He was
100 catches.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't understand why Josh McDaniels, especially coming from New England, when they're used to white receivers in the slot. You would think that he's
find the zone
out of all guys, he would know how to use Hunter Renfro. But
I am a Renfro guy. I've been hoping he got scooped for a while now. Again, I just think he's limited to what his role would be, and it is a lot of what Rice does, right? Like he's that short yardage, but he doesn't have near the yak capabilities of Rice. But just to have that guy that you feel confident can get open, and he's going to run like those Kelsey routes, right? Where he just kind of reads the defense, finds the hole, settles in, makes the catch, goes down. He can play that role. And just for a third down option the whole year that you could feel confident will catch the ball.
Yeah, true.
I'm down for that. I would rather have that than Sky Moore.
I think that's my other thing. I think they want to try that with Sky, and I think they got that in Justin Watson. So
bring him to training camp. Let's see what happens.
We forget about Justin Watson, but like on third down, he was kind of Mr. Reliable. He was kind of Mr. Reliable, even though I'm not the biggest Justin Watson dude, because I feel like he doesn't fight for the ball. He tends to not come back to the ball when Mahomes throws it up. He just kind of goes, waits for the ball to come to him, and then it either gets picked off or.
I don't think he's meant to have the targets he's been getting.
He's had enough. What was that one game? What game was that? Was that the Buffalo game where he had like I think it was the Eagles game. He had like over like 10 targets. I was like, why are we doing this with Justin Watson?
There's no one else to get the ball to. Yeah.
There's
I
no
mean,
way, man.
he's like the embodiment of like what Daniel Sorensen was a few years ago. It's like we got rid of him, and then Justin Watson materialized. And it's just like, oh no! But he's done enough to continue.
He'll make a play every 3 to 4 games. He'll make a big play, a big third down, or a big touchdown for us. He's fast. I give him that. And he's a big receiver. He's 6'3", so he's a big guy. I just don't think he uses his speed. I mean, his size to his advantage. Like,
yeah,
that's how I felt about MVS. Like,
yeah,
like MVS doesn't.
Yeah, no, and he. But Justin Watson's expected to be wide receiver 5, and MVS was expected to be 3, 2. Like he was specifically brought in to do a given role, and you just couldn't depend on him to do it unless it was the playoffs. It's wild, but we can't go through what we went through in the offense last year.
No,
just these lack,
and that's why.
Yeah, he had 11 targets against the Eagles.
It was the Eagles. Yeah, I knew it was one of those games where he just had
5 catches, 53. Yeah, and then he had, he had long of 41. He had a 41, a 31, and he had a few 30s. So, yeah, he's a good, throw it up him once or twice a game, but I don't want him getting, more than 10 snaps. He should not. He can't outsnap Kadarius Toney. If Tony's on the roster, for the love of God, please use him. But we'll see. We'll see what this whole wide receiver group looks like. But yeah, again, I just don't know how many spots are available.
I'm all for the Justin Watson slander, Joe. I know that's your guy, but I'm here to slander him all day, just like you like to slander Kadarius Toney. Yeah, I like that. I'm slandering Watson all day until he's off this roster.
I think he's probably the second highest paid receiver.
He possibly is. I know they signed him to a 2-year deal, but
I
don't think it's nothing to cut. I think it'll cost him like maybe $2 million to cut him. It's the same as Kadarius Toney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, same as Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. Be very interesting, but I would say kind of how we saw it play out in the mock. I think they're going to be eyeing offensive tackle in the first just because of that drop off, and then go up somewhere in the second to go get the guy. But again, it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how they prioritize it all. Where is he?
Yeah.
No, there he is. Well, he's not paid too much. 1.7 mil.
How much is the dead cat?
Who?
How much is the dead cat to cut him?
1.3.
Ain't nothing.
Yeah.
They can eat that.
Yeah. But I think they like what they got with him. He's gonna be a good kickoff guy regardless.
Yeah, he is a good on the kickoff team. Unlike Toney.
Sky's getting paid more, Rice is getting paid more, Tony's getting paid.
Yeah, he's making $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm getting $2 million.
Third highest paid. Okay. Yeah, he's getting paid more than Rice. Never mind.
Who? Watson or Toney?
Watson. Tony is too. Tony's at 3.4.
Yeah. Tony's still on his rookie contract.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, should be interesting. Thursday can't get here fast enough.
Most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, I think that covers it, man. Ain't got nothing else to cover. I think we covered everything.
Feeling pretty good. So, all right, if you had to put a stamp on it, Who is it at 32?
Man, it's difficult. If we stay at 32 and Kingsley's there, then we're picking Kingsley, I think. But if maybe a 80 Mitchell sitting there, maybe they take 80.
Well,
Because they
I
know
don't know.
he's not
I just
gonna.
don't know if Mitch. I just think Mitchell's going to be gone.
Because he won't last past the first 5 picks in the second round. So, and I can also see a trade back. I can see a trade back with a team that may possibly want to get somebody on a 50-year option, a quarterback or somebody. So,
yeah. Well, you took my tackle, so I'll just throw out. Let's go Patrick Paul.
Patrick Paul.
Patrick Paul ends up who it ends up being. If for whatever reason they like him more than Kingsley in this scenario, since you already got
I mean,
him.
I get it.
I think they really like Kingsley.
Yeah, I think Paul has played more left tackle than Kingsley. That's his natural position, whereas Kingsley's played more so on the right side. So it would be a transition. He just has all the athleticism and the tools to play left tackle. He has the height and the size. But so does Patrick. But Patrick Paul is what, 6'7", 6'8", and he's like 300 something pounds, 330 or something like that. So I can see why they want Patrick Paul, so so we'll see. All right, everybody. That's about does it for the show. I'm gonna give a shout out to the sponsors. Pull this up real quick. Shout out to Glitch Energy Drink. Glitch Energy Drink offers a wide range of delicious flavors to suit everyone's taste preferences, whether you're into fruity flavors like Maui Punch and Cherry Bomb or prefer something unique like Blue Smurf and Grenades. There's something for everyone. Glitch Energy Drink is not only great for gamers and workout warriors, but also for everyday people who simply need a boost of energy. It's a healthy choice that you can feel good about. You can find more information and purchase Glitch Energy Drink at glitchenergy.com. Once again, glitchenergy.com. Remember to use the promo code H8ChiefPod to get 10% off your purchase and start enjoying the benefits of this delicious energizing drink. Shout out to Glitch Energy. Also, if you look down at the bottom, you'll see the link, emqpodcast.com/locker-room. If you click on that link, you'll see the locker room access of all the podcasts that's under the Every Morning Quarterback umbrella. They have a 49ers one, a Patriots one, a Jets one, and they have ours, Arrowhead Chief Podcast. Click on the banner. You'll see all of our episodes from the past one to the recent ones. Also, they have a podcast too. They talk about everything NFL league-wide. They talk about college football too, and they give you betting tips for the week. So go ahead and check them out. Every Morning Quarterback. You can also follow them at EMQ Podcast on all social media platforms. So shout out to those guys, those fellas over there at Every Morning Quarterback. Whatever streaming platform you use, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, whatever you use to listen to your podcast on, Arrowhead Chief Podcast is available on there. Also, if you're a first-time YouTube watcher, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification button. So when we go live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can jump in the live and be in the comment section talking about these topics with us, with Joe, with Brian, with various other people that come in the comment sections and chat with us while we talk about these topics on the Chiefs. And go ahead and do that, man. Subscribe, man, because we want y'all to be a part of this show just as much as we are. And whatever social media platform you use, whether it be X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, whatever you use for social media purposes, Arrowhead Chief Podcast is on there. If you look right above Ash, the AH Chief Podcast, you put that into the search column, look us up, follow us. We will follow you back because we are not Hollywood. Joe, what are we? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And no, Joe, we did not get worthy. Unfortunately, you're not gonna
Colts
like
got him at 15.
You're not gonna like our first pick, Joe.
Oh no, he's not.
He's not. He's not gonna like our first pick. We tried to trade up to 19, but Brian Thomas Jr. was gone, man. He was gone,
Wow.
man. All the
Didn't fall the way we needed.
Yeah. So, but yeah, follow us. We'll follow you back. We're not Hollywood, but we're Hollywood. Feedback, critiques, topics, questions, anything concerning the Chiefs or NFL base, hit us up. If we like it, it's within reason of, the topics that we like to cover. We will bring it up on the show and we will shout you out on the show, because we want to show love to those who support the channel and support the podcast. So go ahead and do that, man. All right, people. Who we get? Better not be Lad. No, it wasn't Lad. It wasn't a receiver. It wasn't an offensive lineman. It was a corner, Joe.
Delicious juice.
I just want to see what Joe says. It was a corner. Can you guess the corner that we got, Joe?
Comes in multiple flavors.
Let me see. I want to see what he says. He's gonna be mad. Come on, Joe. We got a corner. Oh, here we go. Better be Kool-Aid. Yeah, it is Kool-Aid.
Okay.
That's what we got. Oh, okay. You approve of it.
Joe proved. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
must be a good pick.
Kool-Aid. Okay. We got Kool-Aid. We got the stamp of approval from Joe. That's what I'm talking about, Joe.
It's a good draft. That's what I'm here for. Just don't tell him about the second pick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you ain't going to like the second pick.
Yeah. It's all right. PFF liked it. It brought a great.
He was the only one to get an A+, though.
Yeah. Steal.
I'll give you a hint, Joe. His name rhymes with Coy Manklin. I just feel like his value in the second round was back.
Yeah.
Come on, Joe. How you feel about that?
We can get.
He ain't gonna say nothing.
Feel better about Ricky, but PFF like Troy.
Yeah, I like Reid Purcell. All right, well, he ain't saying that. All right, everybody. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Thursday can't get here fast enough, so enjoy the draft. If you're watching NBA playoffs, enjoy the NBA playoffs. Second round is nice for Frank. Okay.
Hey,
see,
Joe.
All right. See,
We're
Joe. See. All right, Joe. We
good.
got the stamp approval, Joe. So we good. So, but yeah. Until next Tuesday, people, when we recap the draft, and hopefully we're walking in here with happy campers. We'll see y'all next time.